Hi, everyone. Welcome to the PokeBeach.com podcast. My name is John. I go by Water Pokemon Master on the website, and I am joined, as always, by my good friend
Justin Basil of justinbasil.com.
And I don't feel like we have a lot of news this week. Do we?
We have some news, and some of it's a little important.
Do we? Okay.
We have some news.
I wrote.
I don't think it's quite as bad as last week. Last week was empty.
I wrote it, but I don't even remember. What should we start with? This one?
Let's do the pull rates article. That one was
this one.
That one. We have a story with that one. We can share a little bit.
Yeah,
that's
okay.
a fun one.
Yeah, that's a fun. So, the first news story of the week is titled "Temporal Forces has the hardest pull rates of Scarlet and Violet sets for the highest rarities," and we have a funny story with this one. Why don't you tell it?
We do. So right before last week's recording, we were you were writing the story up. So I'll let you tell that part of the story.
Oh, that you didn't even say anything. Okay, we were working on this story last week before we did the podcast, and we were using an image from TCG Player that showed all their pull rates for this set, but the image was wrong. Thus, our news story was wrong. So, their image they posted said that the regular EXs were like super rare compared to the full arts. And when I was writing this article, I'm like, this doesn't make any sense. This is like the weirdest set ever. Turns out their image was just wrong, which is, unprecedented for them. So they issued a corrected image, and thus I had to delete that article that we posted last week and repost this one. And we were in the middle of recording that podcast too when we discovered that the information was wrong. So we had to start that podcast over, restart it last week. So
yeah, it was a bit weird, like, because we were both like, there's no way, but this is their data.
Yeah.
They trust TCG Player. They don't make mistakes.
No.
It was very clearly on the graphic. The EXs were a 1 in 20.
Yeah.
So, okay. I mean, that's crap pull rates, but there were two other pull rates that were also much worse in this set. So we're like, I guess they just really hate us now, or what?
Yeah,
but
TPCI. Yeah, we're like, well, we don't know what they're doing. But I was like questioning you too when I was writing it. I'm like, this really doesn't make any sense. Are we sure something's not wrong here? But anyway, So now we have the corrected article, which their data based off 8,000 booster pack openings actually shows that the top two rarities of the set have become much rarer, whereas the rest of the set is pretty much the same, the other rarities. So special illustration rares are now almost twice as rare as they were in Paradox Rift and 2.7 times rarer than earlier Scarlet and Violet sets. So in Temporal Forces, you can get a special illustration rare out of 1 out of 86 booster packs. In Paradox Rift, it was 1 out of 47, and then in the first year of Sword and Shield, Scarlet and Violet, it was 1 out of 32. So that's quite the difference. And
yeah, it's a market jump, and I think maybe part of it has to do with some of the complaints they've gotten from the collector investor segment about how it devalues the value of these cards. But it's weird to me because a lot of those cards are still very valuable, even with them being significantly more common.
I think it's just about money, probably. They probably have data showing that the product isn't moving as quickly as it should. So they're making the chase cards rarer, which will obviously cause people to open more booster packs. So they must have some data showing on their end that the product isn't selling as well. So that's my theory.
I don't think it's the pull rates, though. That's the thing. A lot of the collector comments I've seen on PokeBeach are basically complaining that they don't like the Pokemon themselves on the cards. They don't like the layout of the Scarlet and Violet cards. They're all sorts of random and kind of just dumb comments, honestly. But
well,
like, I kind of their own, I guess.
I kind of agree with the layout thing. Like the Pokemon V were like basically full art cards, the regular prints, and then now we have them where half the layout is covering it, and it's just like barely transparent over the artwork. So
right, but these are half arts. They're not supposed to be full arts. That's the thing is with the GX and V eras, you basically had full arts for what were supposed to be half arts. And there was no real distinction between those and the full arts.
But now it's a down
in terms of art coverage.
Well, but the full arts, it's about the texture, But now
the full arts are just awful. They can scrap those already.
But I think it's the right decision to do what you're saying. What is my cat doing? I think I just heard a crash. I think it's the right decision in terms of what you're saying, like keeping the base rarities not as special as the higher rarities. But it is a downgrade when we just came from Sword and Shield to this. It does feel like a downgrade going from those full art Vs that are the base rarities to this. So I agree with that, but I also understand why TPCI has now reset it to having the layout there. So
this is more like the original EX, capital E, capital X, where it was, there was part of the box there. And I think if Pokemon wants to go in the direction of having everything be full art, they need to have everything go full art, not just the higher rarities.
We've talked about this a million times. I've said that they have to keep the lowest rare. If everything is cool, then
John, you're talking against yourself right now, right?
No, I am not.
You literally were just complaining. You were literally just complaining about the half arts in Scarlet and Violet.
No,
and
then you
saying,
didn't.
They need to be full arts.
No. Then
you were just saying that.
No, wait. Then I wasn't clear, or you misunderstood. What I'm saying is that you have to have there be like a you have to have the base rarities be not as special, and then the higher rarities more special, because otherwise,
right? And now the base rarities are not as special.
I know,
so
that's what I was saying. I was saying I don't like it because it feels like a downgrade, but I understand why TPCI did that, to reset it so that they aren't as special. That's what I'm saying. I'm saying I don't like it as a fan, but from as a company, I understand why they did that, because it's making them the base rarities not as special, and then it actually makes the chase cards more special by comparison. And we've talked about that before on previous episodes where we were like,
we're not going to come to an agreement on this argument because we've gone back and forth on this a million times.
Yeah.
But I think if the Digimon card game, the One Piece card game, all these Bandai card games, if all these card games can do full art cards in their base rarities, I think Pokemon's perfectly capable of doing it too. And they have shown with their trainer galleries, with the alternate arts, that they can create more desirable arts for cards than the base rarities. And I don't think half art versus full art is enough of a distinction to go that route.
So speaking back to the original story, so we said special illustration rares are twice as rare now compared to Paradox Rift, 2.7 times rarer than earlier Scarlet and Violet sets. Now the hyper rares in Temporal Forces are found in 1 out of 139 packs. In Paradox Rift, it was 1 out of 82, and in earlier Scarlet and Violet sets, it was 1 out of about 54. So now they're 2.5 times rarer than earlier sets. So these also became much more rare. So it's the special illustration rares and the gold hyper rares that are now much rarer. Now let's get to where it's a bit of a let's get to this discussion point. So we now have the introduction of ace spec cards, which have a pull rate of 1 out of 20 packs, and they're found in the first reverse holo slot. We talked about how special illustration rares and hyper rares are now much rarer, but now you can pull ace spec cards out of your packs. So this means that overall, you're still pulling like the same amount of hits as previous sets if you count an ace spec card as a hit. So the overall effect of pulling hits hasn't changed because now they have the introduction of ace spec cards. But because of that, like we said, the top two rarities have become much rarer. But I said here in the story, if you're a collector who wants the hyper rares or special illustration rares, you can find probably a player who will want your ace spec cards and who won't want the rare cards for their decks, and you can trade with them. So it is the Pokemon trading card game. So
yeah, there is that trading aspect after all.
Yeah.
No, I think the ace specs are fine. I do wish they were a little bit more common, more like in the grounds of maybe the Radiant or Prism Star ratios. 1 to 2 per booster box, a little bit rare for something that's so critical to the game, but it could be worse.
And then the other rarities are the same as previous Scarlet and Violet sets, so let's just go over that real quick. Double rares have a hit rate of 1 out of 6 packs. Those are the base EX cards. Ultra rares, full arts, are in 1 out of 15 packs. So that'd be like your full art Walking Wake EX, your full art Morty's Conviction. The pull rates of regular illustration rares are 1 out of 13 packs. And then, as we said before, the special illustration rares and hyper rares, the top 2 rarities, have become much more rare. So you can check out the news story if you want to see the specific pull rates for each set, but this is where it stands now. So we'll see how this affects the market value of these products going forward on the secondary market. Like I said, I suspect that they might have data showing that, I don't know, maybe the packs aren't selling as well, or I don't know. So maybe this will cause them to sell better. I don't know. We'll see. Or they just did it because
whether or not it
specs.
does, I don't necessarily think that it's the. I don't think necessarily it's the rarities that are causing the downfall in pack sales.
All right. What's our next news story? Okay.
Should we talk about Volbite and Illumise? Or Volbeat and Illumise?
Volbeat. Yeah, how funny. So Mask of Change and what's the Twilight Masquerade were revealed 2 weeks ago, and they're just like giving us now one reveal a week, because they revealed it so early on the Japanese side.
When they dropped this reveal, I was like, oh, I guess they're gonna start already.
Nope.
And then it's been radio silence all week. I was like,
nope. It's just
okay, I guess that's a thing.
My theory is...
Yeah, it's really weird.
My theory, I think I mentioned it on one of the previous episodes, was that they're sort of forced to reveal Mask of Change because of Ogerpon's popularity, because the English set had to begin their pre-orders. So that's why the English set had to reveal all the product images and whatever to start the pre-orders. Therefore, the Japanese side had to reveal Mask of Change, the Japanese equivalent of Twilight Masquerade, in order to, have Japanese fans satisfied with the reveal of Ogerpon like the American fans are. But anyway, okay, so we got a new Volbeat and Illumise. Do you want to go over them?
Sure. So Volbeat is a grass type with 70 HP. It's a basic Pokemon. As the attack Fast sign for single colorless energy, it says if you go first, you can use this attack during your first turn, search your deck for 2 basic Pokemon, and put them onto your bench, then shuffle your deck. And then for 2 colorless energy, it has Coordinated Strike for 20+. If Illumise is on your bench, this attack does 60 more damage. I think this is a great card for cubes.
Yeah, otherwise it's bad.
Yeah, and then Illumise is a grass type, also basic, 70 HP, has for a single colorless energy, slowing perfume. You can only use this attack if you go second, and only during your first turn. Shuffle one of your opponent's bench Pokemon and all attached cards into their deck. And then for grass colorless, Glide does 30 damage.
And
it's a very niche use. It's a very niche use, but yeah. And yes, the artwork does connect.
Connects. Am I doing it backwards?
Mm-hmm.
Wait, no. Excuse me. Connects this way, right?
Mm-hmm.
Does it? Where is it connecting? Am I blind? It's just, is it
look at the red and the sun I guess technically sunset still, but
oh, I see. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So they're basically the same illustration, just cut in half.
Yep.
I didn't look at it too closely.
They should do more of that, I think.
Yeah, it's nice when they do that. It's nice. People love connected cards that tell a story, cards that progress.
I mean, these two Pokemon in particular are very tied together, like Plusle and Minun. They should have connected arts, right? Mm-hmm. Zangoose and Seviper also should have connected arts.
Yep.
To be fair, Zangoose and Seviper have had connected arts, but they should continue to have them.
Mm-hmm. All right. Next news story is there's 2 actually. They're sort of disconnected. One's an update to the other. Where did it go? Am I blind? Oh, I am blind. Okay, cool. So Pokemon Japan is increasing supplies of their booster boxes, and they will be reprinting both Pokemon Card 51 and Ruler of the Black Flame in May. So for the first time since the pandemic in 2020, Japan's Pokemon Center website is selling booster boxes of recent sets without major restrictions. So this is a very unusual site. Usually when you go to the Pokemon Center website and you go to the TCG category, it's just empty because everything is sold out and permanently sold out. And for the first time since 2020, they actually have things listed that you can buy and the only restriction is that they're limited to like 2 boxes per set. And then I think on Amazon it's like 6 boxes, but it's very unusual. So that tells us, with the demand that we know exists, that they have had very large print runs of recent sets, which explains why they're still up for sale right now. And so they restocked Wild Force, Cyber Judge, Ancient Roar, Future Flash, and Shiny Treasure EX, which is everything since October 2023. And then in this next news story, I talked about how they're going to restock Ruler of the Black Flame as well. So that means that everything except Raging Surf will be restocked by May. So they are going back and reprinting basically everything that's been released since June of last year. So news of this caused the prices of 151 to crash on a Japanese marketplace website. So we expect that these reprints are going to continue to bring the prices of booster boxes down, because in Japan they're only I forgot what I wrote. They're like 100. No, what am I saying? They're like $38 in Japan for a booster box. But for the past month, 151 on the secondary market has been going for $132, which is insane. So the fact that they are now selling these so easily at retail price should cause the prices of these to all crash over the next month or so. And then we also
I'm glad they're able to get more supply to the people who actually want them to open them and to play with the cards. I think that's great.
Yeah, they've been promising it since 2021, when they've had all the scalping issues, and the they set up lotteries, they set up made to order sales to try to appease fans. But now it looks like they've finally somehow fixed their supply chain issues. Maybe they, I don't know, went to more factories or bought more equipment. Who knows? And then I also want to say that last week, stores in Japan received a large supply of Crimson Haze. One store we're friends with posted all the booster boxes they received. They were selling them without any reservations required. So even Crimson Haze, the most recent set, had a huge print run. So this is all very good news. The Japanese supply seems to be finally healing, getting better. So
it took quite a while for the international supply to heal too, after all the scalpers came after it.
Yeah.
And I'm glad to see that Japan's finally healing too.
And then in America, they bought Millennium Print Group so they could print more cards. Mm-hmm. So that's why.
If the demand is there, the demand is there. Mm-hmm. Part of the thing with buying Millennium Print Group too is you're also reducing your costs to produce, because you're not paying a third party to do it.
Yeah,
you're not doing it yourself.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Yes, I think that's why the price increase with Scarlet and Violet was smaller than it could have been.
And I also think it took them a while to acquire Millennium Print Group, maybe because they were trying to assess if the jump in the demand for Pokemon TCG stuff during the pandemic was like a temporary thing, like a fad, or if it was going to be like a long-term issue. And it turns out it was a long-term issue, because people are still going nuts over cards. Is it though?
Because we just got done talking about how there's a decrease in sales for Scarlet and Violet sets, and I think part of that comes down to the scalpers are losing interest because there's too much product. You have a lot of the collectors that are dissatisfied with the layout and overall cards contained in the Scarlet and Violet sets. Like, there is clearly a decrease.
There's probably a dip, but overall, it's the card game is selling off the charts. It's the #1 selling card game in stores. It's above Yu-Gi-Oh!, Magic the Gathering, those other two that you mentioned that do the printing of.
But it's been there though. It's been there.
It's been what?
For years it's been there. #1. It's been #1.
Yeah. I'm just saying there's like maybe a slight dip, which may be why the sales, or why they made the rares rarer. We also said that it could be because they introduced spec cards, so it could be that. Yeah, I don't know. We're guessing. Like, we have no information. We're just going off.
Yeah, I'm sure some random person at TPCI is listening to this and going, "These idiots know nothing."
They're probably not listening. I feel like I don't think they are listening.
Well, it'll be some freak accident that they happen to listen to this episode. That's what it'll be.
Who knows?
Like Peter Parker getting bit by a radioactive spider.
Okay, what are our other stories of the week? We have okay, so I posted the as we've talked about before, Creatures set up a Japanese Pokemon TCG Instagram where they post textless illustrations of full art cards and whatnot. So I collected them all for the month of March into this post. You can see them all here. Here's your favorite.
Erica. Yeah, not my favorite art of her, but I do like Erica in general. My favorite probably art in general on this page though is almost certainly going to be the Galarian Moltres V. That card is so pretty.
This one?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, why did I say this one? Obviously it's this one. I was thinking in my head when I said this one, this isn't my favorite, but I like that it's a different style, but it's not my favorite.
It's a very distinctive style.
I always
and you compare that to like the Galarian Moltres V, and it's a big upgrade.
I always like realistic styles more. Like I like this Erica. I like the Raging Bolt. I like it when they do realistic stuff. I don't tend to like the simplified stuff, except for this Tapu Koko. But anyway,
this is for our listeners. This is an article you're going to have to actually hit up on the website. This is Creatures releasing the textless versions of some illustrations for March. They've been dropping them for a while on their Instagram channel, and frankly, it's really nice to get a chance to see the cards without so much text on them.
And they make good phone wallpapers.
Mm-hmm.
All right, next news story is just minor news this week. The premium Checklane blisters for Twilight Masquerade were revealed. One will feature the Kingdra line. The other will feature the Porygon Z line, both from Paradox Rift. These Checklane blisters come with Galaxy Holofoil versions of their top evolution card, as you can see here for Temporal Forces, featuring Togekiss and Baxcalibur from Obsidian Flames, both with that very pretty Galaxy/Cosmos Holofoil, which is so nostalgic to me. So that'll be releasing for Twilight Masquerade. And then we also got some new Ultra Pro products revealed this week, which I know what people are already going to say about them. We got 3 Alcove deck boxes featuring the clip-on magnets. There's a black deck box for Hoenn, a yellow deck box for Unova, and a pink deck box for Paldea. Each deck box can hold 100 double-sleeved cards and features a strong magnetic closure. Each are $34.99. They'll release in September. We also got new tournament folios. They released these before with Venusaur, Charizard, and Blastoise. Now they feature Psyduck, Eevee, and Dragonite. They are literally just plastic portfolios for putting your tournament deck lists and notes in. They retail for $7.99 for all 3 together in a pack. And yeah,
like these are the kinds of products that I think are perfectly innocent. Like they're fine. They do what they need to do.
What?
You're
saying these are okay? I thought you were gonna hate these.
There's nothing wrong with them.
Oh my God.
Why would you hate them? They're a neat stitched deck box. They have a little extra thing you can stick on it to personalize a little bit. There's nothing wrong with it.
I thought you always.
This isn't like a playmat where the art is literally all that matters.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Okay, yeah. I mean, yeah, it's a deck box. It's made. It's like that faux leather thing, right? Yeah, it's the faux leather stitched thing.
It's fine. Like, is it the highest quality? No, it's Ultra Pro. But it's still nice.
I actually think these are ugly. I think the colors are really ugly. Like this blackish.
I don't mind.
blue.
I don't mind the blue. I don't mind the pink. The yellow is a little off for me, but the other 2 are fine.
And then the tournament folios are just such a random thing. Such random.
I mean, if they're plastic folders, like, okay, cool, whatever.
Oh, how funny! I just noticed they have the type icons in the background. Water, colorless, dragon.
Yeah, like it's fine. Like if you have a backpack and you're going to a tournament like a League Cup or something, which I'm running or I'm judging tomorrow, by the way. Like yeah, a plastic folder is a good thing to have. You can stick your deck list in it, keep it protected in your backpack. Sure, why not?
Do you tournaments? You don't even print out your deck lists anymore, don't you? Just submit them through Arcanine.
No, you You, I wish.
No?
No, for stuff like League Cups and League Challenges,
Oh, well, yeah,
you
League
do
Cups,
still need to
yeah.
have a printed deck list, which is what you would use. So
Right.
for regional championships, for some special events, depending on the organizer, and then international championships, generally you'll use RK9. I know RK9 is working with some smaller organizers to also make their services available for cups and challenges. But as a general rule, no, you're going to still be using either a printed or at least at the very least written deck list for your League Cup or challenge.
All right, let's move on to the next news story. Yet another Temporal Forces store promotion has been revealed for Europe. You can get a jumbo Raging Bolt EX card, or oversized if you prefer the official term, when you spend 20 euros at Game UK stores, or if you buy select Temporal Force products from their website. So this means that here are all of the Temporal Forces store promotions. There's the GameStop stamp Koraidon, the Best Buy Temporal Forces Miraidon, the Temporal Forces Koraidon stamped, the Temporal Forces stamped Koraidon, the EB Games stamped Koraidon, the Jumbo Iron Crown EX, and now the Jumbo Raging Bolt EX. So there's 6 cards you can get if you are an English collector who wants what do you call them? The binders that have everything? Master binder?
Mm-hmm. The master sets.
Yeah. So that's it for the week. So I was talking to you about the LA regionals. So I used RK9 for the first time, and I signed up and got a spectator badge. So I'm gonna go to LA regionals and see what it's like now. I haven't been to like a regular tournament in quite a while. So
West Coast regionals are going to be a little bit smaller than most, like the ones in Central and Eastern America. But from now, any regional now to what you were used to, it's a lot bigger.
wait, so why are they smaller? Is it because we have more over here?
It's a lot more expensive to get over to you guys. Flights out to California are way more expensive than like a flight out to Orlando.
Nice.
It's what it is. It's economics. That's why we're having a nearly 3,000 person Orlando regional, but we'll be lucky to have like a 2,000 person LA regional.
I was laughing because I'm like, good, then I can breathe better. It won't be so packed.
I mean,
LA is so crowded.
it's gonna be really busy still. Like, don't get me wrong, it will be smaller than the other regionals, but it will not be small. It's still going to be a pretty big regional.
Well, see, when I was little, I went to the Super Trainer Showdowns, and those took up the one I went to in San Diego in I think 2000 or 2001. Took up a whole hall at the San Diego Convention Center, and I think I saw that for the LA regionals, it's also taking up a hall at the LA Convention Center. So it's going to be really interesting for me to see what the comparison is, because it certainly feels like right now Pokemon is as popular as it was back then. So yeah, it'll be fun.
The tournaments are bigger than ever.
Yeah,
The Super Trainer Showdown was basically the equivalent of Worlds that year, wasn't it?
No, there were several STSs across the U.S. Right, I'm not remembering very well. Maybe there was like an East Coast one and a West Coast one. I don't remember. But I have a funny story actually. So at the first STS I went to, I was playing Neo Genesis for Alligator, the Riptide for Alligator deck, and I was in third place by like the second to last round in my division, and I dropped out so I could play it in a side of, because I was little and I wanted to play in this like side event thing where you could go on stage and name all the as many Pokemon as you could to win a bunch of booster boxes. So I went on stage, and there's this guy that had like a what do you call it? What is it like in Mary Poppins? The mother, she's wearing that thing around her. What do you call that thing? Anyway, a guy had like this giant accessory made of Pokemon cards that he was wearing. I think his name was like King Rara or something. I don't remember. And he was doing all these quizzes and stuff, and you could win a bunch of booster boxes. So one of the competitions was get on stage and name as many Pokemon as you could. And if you come in first place, you get like a bunch of Neo Revelation booster boxes. So I did that. I named all the Pokemon in order from Bulbasaur to maybe like, I don't know, halfway through Gold and Silver, because all the other kids were just doing the Poké Rap, but I actually knew all the Pokemon in Pokedex order. So I got a bunch of Neo Revelation booster boxes and a Mewtwo Returns DVD, which I didn't want. I wanted the Mewtwo Returns VHS because DVDs were new back then. But yeah, that was my memory. So I dropped out of the tournament to just go get more to get more booster boxes.
Drop out of top four in the equivalent of a regional to get some booster boxes elsewhere. Hey, at least you got some booster boxes.
I don't know.
Do you at least still have the cards that you won from back then?
Yeah, of course. They're in my binder. I got I remember I got Shining Magikarp and Gyarados, so it was good. And I think there were pictures of me on Pojo from back then, from when I did it, because I can probably still name at least name the first 151. I think. Let me see. Bulbasaur, Ivysaur, Venusaur, Charmander, Charmeleon, Charizard, Squirtle, Wartortle, Blasters, Caterpie, Metapod, Butterfree, Weedle, Kakuna, Beedrill, Pidgey, Pidgeotto, Pidgeot, Rattata, Raticate, Spearow, Fearow, Ekans, Arbok, Pikachu, Raichu, Sandshrew, Sandslash, Nidoran, Nidorino, Nidoqueen, Nidoran, Nidorino, Nidocling, Clefairy, Clefable, Vulpix, Ninetales, Jigglypuff, Wigglytuff, Zubat, Golbat, Oddish, Gloom, Vileplume, Paris, Parasect, Venonat, Venomoth, Diglett, Totrio, Meowth, Persian, Psyduck, Golduck, Mickey, Primate, Growlithe, Arcanine, Poliwag, Poliwhirl, Poliwrath, Abracadabra. Oh, okay, anyway, I could go all day. But it was like you had to do it in like maybe a minute and a half or something. So that's how I won. So anyway.
You must have been talking so quick.
I was.
Little boys have mouths that run so fast, though. So it wouldn't be surprised if you got all the way to Johto in a minute.
Yeah. And I should post a video of me doing all of them like in under, maybe 50 seconds or something. I used to be able to do it really quick. I don't know if I could still do it. But anyway. So, yeah, it'll be fun to see how that is. And then also this week, I started looking at my binder, which I did not want to do because I haven't looked at it in maybe a couple of years. I was afraid to look at my base set cards because they're all, hold on a minute. Let me grab it.
While John's getting his cards, we'll talk about my base set cards. They were definitely kids' cards. They got some edge wear, some sticky fingers stuff going on.
Yeah, I used to.
Now that he's back,
I used to have a permanent marker, and I'd write my phone number and name on the back of all my cards. And back then, well, they weren't worth that back then. That's the thing. People always like talk about how they regret whatever that they didn't hold on to them or whatever, but they weren't worth that back then. They weren't. So it's like, don't feel bad. Like I played with my cards. I actually, went to Pokemon League with them and used them in decks, and I had like a Rain Dance deck.
And this is prior to the advent of sleeves, right?
I remember the first time I saw sleeves was later, but I think we had sleeves, but like, yeah.
I didn't growing up.
Oh God, look at this Blastoise. Oh God.
Oh geez. Okay, I didn't see it for a second, but there's like a straight up crease on it.
Yeah, it was in my Rain Dance deck, and so anyway, I was looking at my. Oh shoot, I have cards falling out. So I was looking at my binder, which I've been afraid to look at for this reason. All my base set cards are totally shot. Like they're all scratched up, but. You know what I did?
Okay, but to be fair, those cards scratched really easily.
Well, yeah,
like they did scratch super easy.
And the corners are like all like, they like flake. That's the other thing that I don't. But you know what I did? So the one smart thing that I did was in 2003, I was in high school, freshman year of high school, and I went on eBay with my mom's permission and her credit card, and I bought every booster box from Jungle through what was it? Jungle through maybe Aquapolis, something like that. And I had also, because in 2003 I had won a Ruby and Sapphire pre-release tournament, and for that tournament they gave out $500 gift certificates, and I used that to get all Skyridge booster packs off PokemonCenter.com. So the one smart thing I did do in 2003 was buy all those booster boxes. I did open them, but if I hadn't done that, I would have like no minty cards at all, because all my cards back then I played with. But like I had, like I still have holes in my binder. Like, I don't know why I'm not showing it, but like I don't know. Like here's Neo Revelation. Like I have everything but all the hollows except whatever comes after Houndoom. But
Neo was such a good era.
Yeah, I mean, I've got... So anyway, why I was bringing all of this up... Oh, look at the shinings that I have. I have more in one of my drawers, but I have Shiny Noctowl, Raichu, Steelix, Tyranitar, Celebi, and I had some other ones in my drawer. But the reason I was bringing all this up was because I really want to repair my base set collection, because they're all scratched up. I think my jungle is also a little bit damaged, but everything after Fossil is good. But so I'm trying to figure out a way, like how do I try to get all of the base set cards? So I was like looking on eBay and stuff, and it looks like it's gonna cost somewhere between like $5,000 and $6,000 maybe to get the holo cards, which I can't afford. So I'm wondering, like, if I go to this tournament, maybe there will be vendors or something, or people that'll just want to, I don't know, trade for cheaper. Or then, do you think they do that? Like, are they cheaper than what they are on eBay, or does everybody like use?
So
TCG
a lot of the vendors
player?
will use TCG players pricing for stuff,
what I
but for older
figured.
cards like that, it's very difficult to do.
Yeah.
So good luck.
Yeah, we'll see. I'll come back with my report and see. But if anyone has a spare base set collection, I don't like Shadowless. I don't like first edition base set. On the playground, we had unlimited. Like first Shadowless was like something that only the hobby stores I think originally got, and then like you'd trade and maybe get like, I don't know, an odd Shadowless here and there. But that's not what we grew up with on the playground. Nobody had Shadowless like as like their full collection. It was all unlimited. So I just want unlimited base set. So if anyone has maybe a minty set of them that they want to sell, let me know, because I'm looking for them.
So the question for you is, are you going to go to NAIC in a couple months? Going to LA regionals?
We'll see. I don't know if I'm...
Because that would be a decent chance for us to meet up in person finally.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm
definitely down for that. I don't know. Like, when is it? June. First week of June, right? Weekend.
It's fairly early on. Let me look at PTCG Legends real quick.
I think it was at June 7th or something. June 8th. We just talked about it the other week because it was...
We did, and I have the memory of a goldfish, so... June 7th through 9th, yeah, so...
and then... and that's in Indianapolis?
No, that's in Louisiana.
Oh.
It's in New Orleans.
Didn't it used to be in... When it was Nationals, didn't it used to be in Indianapolis? Or Columbus? No,
it's been in Columbus for a long time.
Yeah. It was originally, I think, in Indianapolis. Then it was in Columbus, and then I don't know. I've been playing this. I've been involved in this. I haven't been playing this. I've been involved in this card game for so long. I can't even. It's like I just jump in and out all the time, different eras, and can't keep anything straight. But maybe I'll go. I don't know. We'll see. I'd have to.
It's really, the NAIC is always very, very fun. So you should definitely go if you get the chance.
Well, we will see. Fun maybe for a player, right?
No, even for spectators.
Really?
There's so much to do. Yes, there's so much to do.
Like side events?
Well, the side events are huge. There's of course there's gonna be the Pokemon Center there with tons of exclusive merchandise. You're gonna get to meet people. We've been doing a Poke Beach podcast for months now. People will recognize you now. That's gonna be another thing. They'll be like, oh look, it's Water Pokemon Master.
Nah.
Look, if they can recognize me, they'll definitely recognize you.
There's only like 1,000 views, I think, per episode, or 2,000 if you count the other.
Okay, but that's still a lot of people.
Well, it's funny because like I always enjoyed being anonymous, because in the old days, well, I don't want to go into it, but I enjoyed my anonymity before,
and
that's
okay.
that's why.
Okay, yeah, that's great.
That's why I didn't want to. Remember when we were talking about doing this podcast? I didn't want to do it because I don't. I let my work speak for itself. I don't like being in the spotlight or anything. I like to be incognito at things, but yeah, I don't know. It might be fun. We'll see.
But at the same time, like, it's also nice to be able to kind of talk beyond the article, right? Because there's always little things that don't make it in, or more commentary that I could provide or you could provide. Like, there's just that extra roundness I think that the Poke Beach podcast provides that the articles don't necessarily capture.
What's this have to do with being more having more fun at NAIC?
I was just talking about you're talking about the podcast, and so I had to make sure to talk about the podcast too. But no, if you get a chance, you should go. Yeah, you should go.
We'll see. I have some
Then we could all be like,
I have
look, this guy. We know this guy.
I have some PTSD when it comes to. Never mind. We'll talk. I can't. Never mind. Forget what I'm saying.
I get it.
You know what I'm saying, but you know what
yes,
I'm talking
I do.
about. You know what
the
I'm
audience
talking
doesn't,
about.
but
The
I do.
audience doesn't know what I'm talking about, but you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
All right. So, shall we call it so today we recorded. What day is today? Today's a Friday. We recorded.
Today's a Friday.
We recorded on Friday afternoon today, which was good for my sleep. Because you aren't able to. You have something tomorrow, Pokemon.
Yes, I'm going to be at League all day tomorrow for a League Cup. I'm going to be head judge of League Cup.
Nice.
So if you're in the San Antonio or surrounding areas and happen to be going to a League Cup at Dragon's Den Alamo Ranch, you will see me because I'll be your head judge.
And I think I remember finding out a few months ago that there is a league kind of down the street from me. I have to look into it, but I don't know. It's weird. Like, I don't have the money to spend on cards to play the decks anymore, or at least I feel like I just kind of feel like it's a lot to keep up with for where I am in life right now, to be buying the cards all the time to play the decks. But I really want to play. Oh, that's what.
So what
sucks.
you do is you just meme. You bring something fun that's cheap, and you just have fun with it.
But the problem is that I will have fun, and then I'm gonna want to buy a bunch of cards, which I probably can't afford. So it's like,
John,
I'm just opening.
You just have to win. It's fine.
I'm opening. I didn't even win back then. I think when was I ever actually even good? I was good as a kid, but what does that count for? Because you're just playing with a bunch of other snot-nosed brats. And then, I remember even at that. I remember even at that STS, there was a kid that was trying to guilt everybody by crying. If he started to lose, he started crying, and like everybody was talking about this crying kid at the STS.
Wow.
He was trying to guilt all his opponents or something. I don't know. There were always like weird things like that happening when you were in the kid age division. I don't know how it is now.
It's not like that.
Well, aren't there
the juniors will kick your butt.
Aren't there helicopter parents these days? Like,
not really. I mean, maybe at smaller events with really local stuff, but like at regional stuff, parents have to stay away.
Oh, they do?
Mm-hmm. There's like an area for the parents to watch from afar, basically.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, they can't be right next to their kid because they could be coaching them.
Oh, yeah, like cheating or something. Yeah, because like back then, like my dad would just take me to tournaments, and he didn't really know anything about Pokemon, but he would support me. But it felt like back then, like parents didn't really like get what Pokemon was, and they just kind of like let you go off and do your own thing. But like, I feel like nowadays with what's going on in schools, like I feel like parents would be like so overbearing based on just what I've heard of how schools are.
At least in my experience locally, it's really just not the case. Like there are a couple parents that stick around and they'll talk with the other parents that are there, but a lot of parents rather, they just kind of dump their kids and we're like, okay, here, free babysitting for like 2-3 hours.
So that's good.
Awesome.
It's still the same.
And they don't care.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, there you go.
I mean, the kids enjoy it. The parents get a break from them, and it works out for everybody.
But I guess my fear is that if I go, this is just going to be another thing that I do when I should be working on my scripts and not spending money. So it's like, do I really want to open this Pandora's box?
You gotta have some sort of outlet.
The website.
Right.
That is my outlet.
No, an outlet.
That is my outlet.
Your website is just your job. My
No,
guy.
it's not. Oh, really? Well, does it? It doesn't pay like a job. My website is a hobby. All right. So, but anyway, maybe I'll check out the league. I'm definitely going to be at LA Regionals, see what that's all about, and then I don't know. It'd be fun to go to NAIC. We'll see how. We'll see. We'll see. You know what I'm. Anyway. All right. So
yes, shining Magikarp in the comments, everybody. Anyway, yeah, I don't know. I'm very much looking forward to NAIC. I'm looking forward to being able to go. I loved San Antonio Regionals. I've loved NAIC the last couple of years that it was at Columbus, Ohio. It's just really fun. It's really, really fun. There's an atmosphere in these international events that just can't be captured, even at a regional.
Oh, so it's more right, because now they're internationals. They're not like nationals.
Right.
We'll see. All right. Thank you for listening to this week's episode of the Poke Beach Podcast. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe. Not a lot of you have been commenting lately. I want to see more comments. I want to see what you guys think about everything. So you should comment below. Or
yeah, what was the most interesting story for you this week? That's the question.
Well, there weren't really that many good ones.
Yeah, but
week.
Which one was the most interesting one? Because there were still some interesting things.
Tell us.
I'm calling it now. I'm calling it now. People are gonna go, why does he say Illumise? That's so weird. It's the right pronunciation, but
it's been Illumise since. Oh, excuse me. Since the Ruby Sapphire anime came out in like 2003.
Yeah, I know, but you try to tell certain people the correct pronunciation of Pokemon, they just go, well, it's all made up anyway. It's like,
no, there's intended,
especially card players.
Oh, like well, that's the thing. Oh, yeah. I remember they used to say, because like when Gold and Silver came out, when I'd go to tournaments, they would say like, what did they say? They'd say like Sui Soon or something like that, and then like,
oh, people still butcher Suicune.
It's just Suicune. I mean, we've had the fourth movie since like
the one that gets it the worst though is actually Raikou. Raikou is constantly butchered.
Raikou, not Raikou. Raikou. It's,
not Raikou, not Raikou. It's Raikou.
It's Groudon.
Constantly butchered.
It's Groudon. When Ruby and Sapphire came out, I remember people at tournaments were saying Groudon. Rayquaza, not Rayquaza. That one was egregious for a while because the movie took a few years to come out where they pronounced it correctly. Everyone kind of thought it was Rayquaza. I thought it should have been Rayquaza, but then it changed to Rayquaza. It should be Arceus, but
it is Arceus.
But they retconned it. This is an actual retcon. It was intended to be Arceus, but then they realized that it sounded like ass in British or whatever.
British English.
Yeah, British English. So they changed it to Arceus, but it was supposed to be Arceus. That's how it was originally pronounced in Pokemon Battle Revolution, even though it was hacked in. But they changed it later, and I still call it Arceus. But even in the Detective Pikachu movie, Ryan Reynolds said Arceus, and they didn't, for some reason, they didn't correct him. I actually pointed that out.
I'm amazed they didn't fix that.
I pointed that out because I went to the filmmakers invited me to a early screening of that, and I pointed that out to them. They didn't care, I guess, or maybe it was too much to get him back into.
I'm amazed TPCI didn't say anything.
That's what I'm saying.
They're much more consistent than they used to be about pronunciation.
I think that. Oh, is that Iroh?
That is Toph.
Toph. Hi, Toph.
Hi, Toph.
Doing some earthbending. Yeah, that was that surprised me too, but it must have been like he probably mispronounced it at first, and then maybe it was too much money to get him back into ADR it correctly. I don't know. Who knows? But anyway, all right. Oh, and then say in the comments too, like, how do you deal with money and Pokemon? How do you deal with it? Like, do you have a second job? Do you do things at night to earn money for?
do you do what at night?
What do you do? How do you, in this world today, in this economy, how do you afford this hobby?
What you do is you get a cheap deck, and then just hope it still works a year later.
What is a cheap deck?
You make minimal changes.
In my day, a cheap deck was like $200.
A cheap deck now is like $40 to $50.
No way. What is a cheap deck?
Something like Gardevoir. Gardevoir's not as good now with rotation hitting, But there's still other decks in that same price range.
Oh, well, I guess now we have the. No, that remember that's why they introduced so many rarities. It's so that you can, if you're a card player, you don't have to spend top dollar on them. You can get like the cheapo rarity that the collectors don't want.
Well, the biggest thing that's helped actually has been those League Battle decks. That's helped him a lot.
And products like
That's
that.
helped so much. And then the Trainer's Toolkit also helped a ton.
I'm gonna have to bring a deck. I'm gonna have to have a deck for the LA regionals, aren't I? For the side events.
If you're gonna play in Spectator, or if you're gonna play in the side events, you're gonna want something to play with. Yeah.
What do you win in the side events? Is it just modern sets, modern packs?
It varies. It depends on what you're playing in. You can get like for example, day 2 events. There's this thing where you get like tickets or coins or however they are gonna distribute your points, and then you can spend that on a prize wall. You could get like plushies. You could get card product.
Right. I've seen those before. Oh, that's right. Yeah. What am I saying? I knew that. Yeah, I remember I saw the I saw this blanket on the prize wall at some tournament, I remember, and then I was like, oh, I have to have it, so then I ordered it. But anyway. All right, my headphones just popped out. All right, thanks everybody for listening, and we will see you all next week.
Next week.
Have a good week.
Peace.
Bye.